The curse of time is a terrible thing. When I grew up, I tried to get as many action figures of the Ninja Turtles as I could and tried to watch it whenever it was on. As time went on, I actually sold most of my action figures on a garage sale, and now I can barely remember an entire episode from the show. Growing up sucks, but the Ninja Turtles are still awesome, and so is this game. The story is about the Foot Clan stealing the Statue of Liberty with no exact reason other than the speculation that they wanted it for their collection or to get the Turtles' attention, to which Leo tells Shredder he better give it back. By talking to the TV. I expect that from Mikey, but Leo? Whatever, it's a video game, it doesn't matter. The game is basically a part of the arcade game that goes by the same name, without the Roman numeral. However, it's been a very long time since I've been able to play the arcade game, and the only real differences I can remember is that the arcade version had 4 players at once, better graphics, voice acting for the bosses, a shorter amount of stages, some different bosses, and that was pretty much it. Even so, the Super Nintendo version was a great part of the arcade classic. Before you start the game, you choose which turtle you want to play as. There is a slight difference in terms of how they attack and their speed and their defense, but to be honest, I never really figured out how it works. So for the first time in my reviews, I'm actually going to go to the instruction booklet for help. Ah, cool, there's a coupon here for a Farley's fruit snack. Oh wait, it expired before most of you were even born. According to the instruction manual, this is what their stats actually look like. But let's be honest with ourselves, do we care about stats in a Ninja Turtle game? No! We usually play as our favorite character, and for me, that's Mikey. The game plays as many great classic arcade beat-em-up style games would. You basically want to head right the whole time, but you're able to move left. You can also move up and down, as if to get the feeling of a 3D environment, and to have more freedom of movement. You'll find yourself taking out lots of enemies, avoiding obstacles, until you finally reach the boss, defeat him, and move on to the next stage. There's a total of 10 stages, but the Technodrome feels kinda like 2 stages with 3 boss fights. The combat is surprisingly deep. Sure, you have your 4-hit combo, a special attack that takes a chunk of your life, a running attack, a slide attack, and aerial attacks that are different depending on what height you're at in the jump. But you have 2 other attacks that can kill your enemies in one hit. If you go up to them, hit them, and hold the control stick while still attacking, you'll throw them to the screen, which is the only way to defeat Shredder when he's in his mech. If you hit them, go up to them and tap A, you'll swing them from side to side, knocking over any enemies that they hit. When I was a kid, I did not know how to do this. And now I find out it was in the instruction manual all along. Why didn't I read this when I was a kid? Oh wait, because it also got 2 things wrong. It tells you that that box that lets you spin around takes up an entire life to use. It doesn't. And there's also this cannonball attack that, well, to be honest, if it exists, it must be incredibly difficult to pull off. I guess this wouldn't be the first time an instruction manual got something wrong. Right, Mumbo Jumbo? The options menu is surprisingly deep as well. You can select the difficulty of the game, with it giving you more continues the higher the difficulty gets, your control setup, how many lives you want, set certain controls to automatic, listen to the sound test, select the sound, and even the style of color you want the game to have, even if it is only 2 options. Other modes include a time trial mode, where you just go through certain stages to see how fast you can beat it, the co-op mode allowing you to play the game with another player, and if the other player isn't pulling their weight and just being a total jerk, you can just play them in versus and get your revenge there. Though to be honest, that would probably be the only reason you would want to play that mode. It's, pretty shallow. Halfway through the game, you'll be sent back in time. While this may seem a bit cliched, what it really is giving you new environments to play in that you haven't been able to play through in a Turtles game before. In the previous entries, you mostly just played through cities, sewers, and the Technodrome. That was pretty much it. With this one, you go back to prehistoric times, on a pirate ship, on a train, to the future, and then back to the present, which used to be 1992. While this game is a lot of fun to play through and the graphics for it are really good, there are 3 things I absolutely love about it. First, it's the fan service. From the locations to the characters, holy crap, I used to have that action figure! From the minor enemies such as the foot soldiers, who come in many different colors and weapons. Some of them even imitate the Turtles' weapons. The most annoying foot soldier was probably this one who looked like he was blocking every attack you had with a rock. Yeah, just use your special attack or your one-hit moves. Then there were the more major enemies such as Bebop and Rocksteady and Krang. They even threw in enemies that only had 1 appearance in the cartoon, and even in the movies. If you were a Turtles fan, then there's no question that you love this game. The second would have to be the music. It's just toe-tappingly good. Kinda makes me wish they would have made a DDR version for this when Konami had the rights. And last would have to be the humor. From getting burned, to getting squashed, to getting frozen, to getting electrocuted, and then my favorite of them all. Oh come on, how can you not love it? It works on so many levels, just look! I only have one minor and one major issue with this game. My minor issue is that I wish they would have let you use the LNR button to let you run and block. It just seemed weird that a lot of the buttons don't even have a function, and running is either automatic or by pressing left or right twice. It would have been so much easier just to have a run button. I've heard that the Sega Genesis version actually has it, so I'm kind of wondering why this one doesn't. And if they can have a block in the versus mode, then I don't understand why they can't have a block in the main game. It's not like you'd be able to use it all the time, as you can still take chip damage from it, but it would have made boss fights like Slash a lot easier when he's only vulnerable after he lands from a jump. Otherwise, I can't beat the game by myself on hard mode, which is the only way to become a quote-unquote true ninja. And my major issue? It's sadly a pretty short game. Playing by yourself, you can beat it within 30 minutes, and if somebody else is playing, it'll take less than that. Though I'm not saying you won't want to come back to this game after you've beaten it, you'll definitely want to. If you're a Turtles fan, you'll definitely get the most out of this than anybody else will. Anybody else who's not a fan, well, just think of it this way. It has great graphics, controls, music, has lots of different enemies and obstacles that keep it from getting too repetitive, which is a major flaw that the beat-em-up genre has. And it's only better when you're playing with somebody else. It's short, but what else can you expect from an arcade port? A 5 out of 5. It's a great game to add to your collection.